Uh-oh.
Oh,
Technical
it's okay.
delays.
Yeah, but I'm recording, so we're good.
Please stand by.
It's just acting funny.
I mean, we've talked about, we can kind of go around the characters. We talked about Flash, Wonder Woman, and
Yep.
Cyborg. Maybe we could go ahead and talk about, we'll say Batman and Superman for last. Maybe we can segue into Aquaman.
Okay.
I'd say, and I don't know what you thought, my opinion is out of all of it, he was relatively unchanged. I didn't think he was way better. Didn't
Yeah.
think he was any worse. It was like, I liked him in the Joss Whedon cut,
And
and he's probably the most unchanged between the two movies, in my opinion.
and that's fair, but I also think they did enough of a change that made sense too, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
hmm
So
Now the one things that they did do
I was
that
confused on
really,
two things.
yeah, go ahead.
I was confused on, and it might be just me being confused because I don't know enough information about this, but I was confused on the trident, and I think I'm answering my own question, but it was his mother's trident that
Yeah,
they were trying to give him, not his own. Um,
correct.
so I guess that's my main confusion, and then the other one compared to
His own.
Aquaman. Okay, so it's up. Compared to Aquaman, I was very confused on why are they talking in a bubble, because it wasn't like
Yeah.
that in Aquaman.
Yeah, okay, so with the whole Aquaman stuff outside of his performance, that was the one part of it that doesn't sync up anymore. And that's just because that's how Zach had filmed it, you know, probably a year prior to them filming Aquaman. So
Okay.
when they cut all of that out, now there is a scene of Mara in Joss Whedon's cut where she has the bubble, and it was just like whatever. They just ignored it in Aquaman. But when James Wan, he just chose to go in a different direction. So it looked like, as far as Zack Snyder's concerned, if you're going to talk underwater, you make dolphin noises, and if you want to speak English, you have to create an air bubble. Well, they just ignored that and changed that for
What do you prefer?
James Wan. I think it's probably, it's just easier for them just to talk underwater. I thought that is more efficient. It probably makes more sense if they have to do it in an air bubble, but
Yeah.
if they had to do that all in all the underwater, imagine in Aquaman, all the underwater scenes, and they're constantly having to either speak like a dolphin or make an
It
air bubble. It's just not going to work.
wouldn't make
So,
any sense to
no.
do it that way.
But then the storyline doesn't match up because, Arthur's there in front of King Orin with the trident, and that was in another dimension almost. He had to go through that portal to get there where his mother was stuck, and then he had to fight the big creature to even be worthy of the trident. So that was all different.
Yep. That's where I was like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense.
Right. It's just because they just chose to ignore it. Well, they didn't have to worry about it because that scene wasn't in the Joss Whedon cut, so it didn't matter.
Okay.
You
Now, do
know,
you think it wasn't in the Josh? Do you think it wasn't in his cut because did they tell him what Aquaman was going to have happen in the Aquaman movie, or did he just take it out and just choose not to do it?
I don't know. I don't know
I'm
that they
looking
would have
too
had
hard
too
into
many
that,
conver.
probably.
Probably just them. I'd say they just cut it out. And James Wan, I don't know how much they were going to communicate with him, and I'm sure they did all the cut first, and then they probably showed it to all the future DC directors. James Wan being one of them. And he watched it, and the scene was gone, so he could do what he wanted. He probably didn't even know they had filmed that scene, or
Yeah.
Zach had filmed that scene. So, but yeah, then Volko is kind of got a contentious relationship with Arthur instead of the more uh, kind of admiring uncle figure.
Yep.
So, and he looked a lot different too. He had long hair,
And it was look greasy almost.
Yeah. And then Mira has her British accent, so that was weird too.
That's another thing now that you say that, and I was like, that did not sound like her at all in the movie.
Yeah. So it was just a style choice that they had filmed, and then it was like, well, you know, James Wan went a different direction, but this is what he filmed, so you got to stick with it.
I think one disappointing thing for me is I do like Aquaman. I mean, I like him from the comics. I like him from growing up watching the cartoons. Um,
Sure.
and I really like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. So when you start seeing the Flash character being better, you start seeing Wonder Woman being better, Cyborg
Yeah.
being better. I'm not saying Aquaman was bad, but they didn't really vamp it up like the other ones have gotten vamped up. Heck, even Ben Affleck's Batman was better in this.
Yeah. I agree with you. I just think Aquaman was probably the least unscathed in Joss's cut. It's like he was the one that came through that whole thing relatively okay.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the other characters were like, ugh, gosh, this is bad.
Now, there was still some cut scenes from Snyder
Hmm.
on Aquaman's comedy, I guess you would say,
Yeah.
that they didn't have. Like, he didn't say anything about Batman and, hey, you don't have a power. You know, I know why we're all here, but you
Oh,
don't have a power.
yeah, they cut all kinds of, most of the comedy stuff is gone,
Which I
which,
think was great that it was gone, in my opinion.
uh, yeah, the only scene I kind of liked from the Joss Whedon cut, it was kind of funny, was him sitting on Wonder Woman's lasso and kind of confessing his,
Yeah,
but it didn't fit the tone of Zack Snyder's cut. So yeah, I'm glad it was gone.
yeah, I do agree with that. But like I said, I'm not saying his character was bad. I'm just saying when I
No,
was seeing everybody else so improved that you were
yeah,
hoping something with him being improved. Like take Amber Heard out, take all her
hmm
scenes out, and put more scenes with Jason Momoa in. Maybe he wouldn't come back to reshoot either.
well, again, I just think it was like they already had the footage that wasn't used, and they used, the scene with Volko in King Orin's realm. I can't really think of much else that was new for Aquaman.
Yeah. I will
So
say,
again,
if they wanted to save 2 minutes of this movie,
yeah,
the singing part at the
yeah,
beginning,
yeah. When I
and
watched that again, it was like, oh, gosh, they could have cut that down by a whole minute. They could have just had him break into song and then cut away. I didn't need to see him lingering in this cringy close up of the girl sniffing his sweater.
what was that?
She thinks he's pretty cool.
It made me really feel like all of a sudden
It was a little weird.
it made me feel like Game of Thrones, like gigantically on that one.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it was like, okay, this is one little tiny scene, a couple minutes here I didn't need, but
I didn't
so
understand it.
anyway, yeah, it was a little weird, but so yeah, I agree with it. Oh, for me, Aquaman was just even. You know, he was fine.
I think that's fair.
Another thing too is like, man, visually, what James Wan did with that and putting him in that orange, his classic orange and green costume was like, I thought this costume when it first came out was like, that's pretty cool. It doesn't look a lot like Aquaman, but he looks pretty badass.
You would take it.
I'll take it. But ooh wee man, when James Wan did his version,
I totally
I'm
agree with
hoping
that.
I hope they don't change it much for the sequel because it's so awesome.
I can't disagree with you at all on that.
Yeah.
All right, so now I guess we go to Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I guess we can kind of go back on her.
We never really talked about her
We really
completely,
didn't. No, we didn't.
and I want to
Um,
talk about the bank scene.
yeah. Go ahead.
Um, I know the bank scene was in the original one, but man, when you see this bank scene, I've watched some stuff
Right.
that's like has them perfectly timed. There is no comparison that this
Yeah.
bank scene is just so much better. Not even
Oh yeah.
close.
Yeah. No, it's again, I compare it to the Amazon scene. It's like, well, this scene happened in the Joss cut, but this scene is light miles, head and shoulders above the original. I mean,
Yes.
all the and again, that's like, why would you cut those action scenes? It maybe was an extra minute of footage. I don't know. But
I
it's like, why would you cut that?
It didn't make
It's so
sense.
awesome.
It just
No.
makes so much more sense. And just her jumping out of the bank and throwing the bomb in the air
Yeah.
made so much more sense than compared to how Whedon had it.
Oh yeah. And then she's doing her bracelet thing
Oh
at
my
super
god.
speed. Why would you cut that? I don't even understand. Now, I'm sure the effects weren't finished yet, but why would you? If I'm Joss Whedon, like, yeah, I'm gonna keep that. That's pretty great stuff.
That's a good one. And then the little girl at the end of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
bank scene.
yeah, it's just good. I mean, you still get that caring Wonder Woman. It's like, hey,
Right.
she just murdered a bunch of people, and she's gonna go talk to the little kid. That's Wonder Woman. She's caring.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, no, it was such a good scene. Really great. Again, miles above the original. Similar but totally different.
And then, okay, so there was also a little Laura Craft moment with her. Um, if you notice when she got the arrow,
Yeah,
and
she's
then
pretty. She's got some strong heels.
I gotta find. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what, even my kid said that when she jumped down. I gotta
I mean, she can
find.
land on heels like that because she's Wonder Woman, so that's not up for debate. I'm just like, wow, those are really strong heels, man.
I'm trying to remember where it was that she found that. Where was the arrow shot?
Well, the arrow was shot into that Greek, I
Right.
don't know, site by her mother
Oh,
to
here I
warn
found it.
her. So,
By the way, this is something my kids ask. Is all the Amazons better archers than what Green Arrow is?
well, we don't know, but we're gonna say no.
I mean,
Probably a couple of them are. They train every day. What else do? They just
yeah,
train all day.
and how many would have made that shot?
Well, that's a
Special
Artemis's
arrow.
mystical special arrow, so
Special arrow.
she probably can't miss almost.
That's true. I can't find that spot that I wanted to find, but that's fine. I enjoyed Wonder Woman. I thought she lived up to being the second or
Yeah.
third Justice League member. Um,
Oh yeah,
I
easily.
think without a doubt she did.
I mean, she had really the best battle scenes, and yeah, that's the Wonder Woman we all fell in love with. That's the Wonder Woman from the first movie, and then her smaller stuff in BVS. And I don't want to shred Wonder Woman 84, but it's like, wow,
Uh,
that bank scene alone was as much action as all of Wonder Woman 84.
totally agree with that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wonder Woman 84 is not, just in the last couple months, is not aged well already. It's probably towards the bottom of the list for me for the DC movies, which I hate because I love Wonder Woman.
I mean, I don't understand how it got so bad when Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
How do you go
amazing.
so bad to the next Wonder Woman 84 when you did so well on the first Wonder Woman? And I remember, you're going to have to tell me
Yeah.
the director, but all she kept saying was, trust me, trust me, trust me.
Oh,
Trust
Patty
my
Jenkins.
vision. Holy crap, I hope they don't hire her again for this.
Oh well, she is hired. Yeah.
But they can't use her. Because how can you
Well, they
trust her
will.
vision when it was that crap?
Well, she's had such success that they just won't give her they won't give her creative control. It'll be like, okay, look, we know you're an amazing director, and she is really good. But she was I don't know what was going on at Wonder Woman 84. And it is shocking to see her go from the first Wonder Woman. It's the same creative team to 84, and you're like, oof, maybe we shouldn't give you total creative
Oh
control.
God, they
We're
shouldn't.
gonna have to have some oversight on some of this. So
I also feel, I don't know, Wonder Woman. Okay, this might get deep and some people might get pissed off. Unfinished Business just said I thought 84 wasn't that bad, but that's just me.
Well, that's good. I mean, I think it has its fans.
I thought it was
Um,
horrible.
but it definitely, and I kind of have a soft spot for the nostalgia she was going for because there's probably not that many people that remember seeing this movie because it's not good. But Superman 3, not a great movie, even for a Superman fan like myself. But it's got its moments. It's got its moments.
You know,
However, there was a tone in it that I'm feeling like, man, she was channeling that cheesy '80s tone from Superman 3, and it's just like, and I think she was making a conscious choice to go for that
yeah,
because she thought it was going to be like really cool and retro, and people would really tune in for it. I'm like, yeah, it just didn't work at all, man.
not at all. She focused too much on that, in my opinion, and not on
Yeah, she did.
the Wonder Woman superhero part.
Yeah, I mean the story was a mess too, but yeah, yeah.
I the other thing I was gonna say, and this might, and I'm not trying to sound like an ass or anything like that when I say this. Wonder Woman is an amazing superhero, man or woman. And what I don't understand what's going on now is why can't we focus on these really good superheroes like Black Widow, Wonder Woman, and others? There's so
Right.
many others.
Yeah.
And they're wanting to have women take over now main male superhero parts. And I'm so in the dark of why. I know why without getting really deep into it, but I think you're doing an
Yeah.
injustice to the really good women superheroes that you already have.
Yeah, we know why they're doing it. It's the political climate we're in right now. And you can tell, I don't know, what is it, Gary from Nerdrotic, I think, is where I heard this. It's like you can tell this movie was shot a few years ago before, a
Oh,
lot of
yes, he
people
did say that. I heard that.
a lot of people went insane. Because again, yeah, it's like we appreciate, okay, she's a woman. Wonder Woman is amazing, but you don't tear down other characters to make her better, or
Yeah.
you don't have other characters try to tear her down. You're just like, she's one of the guys. She's in an equal part of the team. You don't talk about it. She just is. She's
And
Wonder Woman.
actually,
She's amazing.
I'm gonna argue that. I think she's one of the superior parts of the team.
Oh no, no, yeah, yeah. I mean, but
She's
she
like
does
the
it
captain.
naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't make a big deal out of it. It's just like, hey, it's Wonder Woman. She's pretty much a natural leader and a warrior, and she should be taking center
Yeah.
stage.
Just like what
But we're
Black
not.
Widow does for Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, think about all the other Avenger movies. There's never any mention of her woman status. She was just a kick-ass character. She had no powers, but was hanging out with a god like Thor.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, that speaks for itself. We don't have to make it this in-your-face message. It's like, hey, she kicks ass, and what more do you need to say?
Yep.
You don't
Totally agree.
question why she's there because she's awesome.
I
Uh,
just don't
uh,
understand why. Make more about her. Make more. There's so many more ways they can go with these great women superheroes that are already in existence that I just don't
Well,
understand it.
yeah, like conversely, Birds of Prey, that was a very heavy-handed message in a lot of it, and not a great movie. I mean, it was basically like, hey, girls are better, men suck and are mean. I mean, I'm a paraphrasing. It was better the second time I watched it, but it's like, okay, wouldn't it have been cooler just to have a movie about Harley Quinn and
Oh my
Black
God,
Canary
she's amazing. Just
and
Harley
make
Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, Black Canary should have been in that movie. Just like, I mean, she's one of the greatest fighters in the DC universe, and she's like up there. Well, she's like up there close to Batman. I mean, she really kicks butt. It's like, just do that. I don't need to hear the politics or the
Yeah.
messages. I mean, if you make quality storytelling with female and minority characters, you're gonna get so much more traction, so much more admiration, so much more.
Yep.
And just do it like that. But that's
Before
we're in where we're at with the climate, so it is what it is.
before we get to Batman and Superman, I want to talk about um Cyborg's father had a business partner, I guess you would call, at Star Labs. And we all know who that
Yeah.
is and who is connected to. My question to you, well, you can say who it is and who it's connected to, but my question is to you,
Mm-hmm.
when are we going to, or are we, is there any chance we see this person in a movie or series?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I don't know if it'll be the same actor, but I mean, Ryan. This is the second Ryan Choi we've seen who becomes the Atom. He's a student of Ray Palmer's, and a lot of times Ray disappears into the microverse or whatever. That's Marvel, but and he's gone, and so Ryan takes over the mantle of the Atom. So we saw him in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and now we've seen another version of him in Zack Snyder. And Zack Snyder said, yeah, his plan was to make a totally centered Atom movie or produce with him as the Atom, and set in China, and there'd be adventures going on. But yeah, it was the plan for him to definitely become. I mean, we saw it. We can segue to that too at the end of the movie. Oh, after everything's happened, and now Ryan's in charge of the Kryptonian site. Like, well, you're in charge of nanotechnology. That's your thing. He's like, yep, that's my thing. Like, oh, that was pretty in your face, nanotechnology. So
Right,
we know
right.
where this is going. So would
I
have been
hope
cool to
they
see.
I hope they go that way. And I mean, it would be, you get the right character or the right actor. The hard part is Ant-Man has, in my opinion, the right actor. Very funny, very,
Yeah,
does that very well. And I didn't see that yet from the very small piece that we saw from this actor.
yeah. I'd be hesitant to say they'll recast him.
But don't you think they
Uh,
have to go, and I hope this doesn't sound bad, but they have to go with a Chinese actor, don't they?
well, yeah. I mean, they'll Asian for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Ryan Choi, obviously. Yeah, you got to have a because I don't think we'll see Ray Palmer. I mean, we've got Ray on Arrow and several seasons of Legends of Tomorrow, and so they'll definitely go with the Ryan Choi version of the Atom, I'm sure.
And I'm
So
okay with that
yeah,
if
that's
it's done
fine. I
right.
mean,
I do want to
yeah,
compare it to a little bit of the Ant-Man type of thing, and I'm probably gonna get beef for saying that, but I would, that's the way I would like for it to go.
yeah. I don't know what they'll do with that character. It's I mean, with Ant Man getting more and more popular, it's going to be hard to do the Atom without it coming off as a complete ripoff. Even
Right,
though I'd like to see it.
and it is a different character with him being so much smarter. I
Yeah,
mean, and not saying anything about Ant-Man, but he was a criminal compared to, what's going on now and that kind of stuff.
yeah. This would be like really Ant Man is Hank Pym. I mean, Hank has always been he's a founding member of the Avengers.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen Hank more as up front as the hero because Hank Pym is, like I said, one of the founding members of the Avengers. So if they ever do the Ryan Choi version, that'll be the contrast. Like you have Paul Rudd, Scott Lang version is a criminal, ex-con, and then you have the actual scientist, the brain actually being the hero. So
Yeah.
yeah, they could do it like that maybe.
All right. So before we get again to Superman and
Batman,
Batman, I want to talk now about Darkseid.
the villains. Oh yeah,
Darkseid was unbelievable in this.
yeah, yeah,
And
so good.
I love what we get out of him and Steppenwolf in that back and forth that you've already done something against the family, and I know
Right.
that's the seed telling him, but we know how bad that Steppenwolf wants Darkseid to be okay with bringing him back, and that's what this whole thing's about, basically.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, we don't know what he did to get banished or
I
how he
wish we
betrayed
sort of did.
Darkseid.
I wish we
Yeah.
sort of did. I wish there was a
Well, and
backstory.
I guarantee you we would have saw something like that in a sequel. We would have got more of that. So yeah, it just was so good to see all that and give him motivation and make him an actual character in regards to Steppenwolf. But Yeah, everyone wants to see Darkseid, man. He predates Thanos. He is similar to Thanos. He's better than Thanos for me. I mean, I prefer Darkseid. And I love Thanos. I mean, Thanos is one of the greatest villains ever on screen.
How much does that
Um,
tick you off as a DC fan that you're hearing people that don't know a lot, and I would put them in my category, that they're just saying that Darkseid was a ripoff of Thanos?
oh, it's irritating, but it's like, what do you expect? I mean, they are very similar. Jim Starlin created Thanos as kind of a knockoff of Darkseid. No, they did that all the time back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's just coincidentally both of those characters have taken off, and then Marvel's where it's at today, and he got out of the gate first.
And you also
It,
hear about how the Infinity Stones, the mother boxes are just rip-offs of the Infinity Stones, but the
yeah,
mother
that's not.
boxes are before the Infinity Stone. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, and yeah, the mother boxes predated by quite a bit, but the mother boxes are a lot different in the
Right.
books. I mean, they're a device, a mother box. It's your companion. It's this super computer, and you get one, and it serves a different purpose than that. I mean, it can do what they did in the Justice League movie, but there's also another purpose to it too. It's not just this all powerful thing like they used it in the movie. But
Okay.
yeah, it gets a little annoying. But on the flip side, hey, eventually, we think we're pretty sure Namor's coming to Black Panther 2. Are people going to say, "Oh my gosh, it's a ripoff of Aquaman"? Well, guess what? He predates Aquaman by about 10, 12 years. So,
There you go.
um,
Touche on that one.
yeah. So, it goes both ways. I don't think he predates him that many years, but several.
I'm trying to find. I mean, I love the battle. Again with Darkseid. Now, somebody asked this, and I was very confused on this. And I understand that he's going through 100,000 of planets. But
Right.
how do you forget what planet defeated you and where you left this mysterious anti? What was it called?
Anti-life,
Anti.
anti-life equation.
How do
Darkseid's
you not?
always looking for it.
How do you not know where all that happened at? In my opinion.
I gotta say, after watching it twice now, that's a bit of a plot hole. Yeah, I agree. It's like, okay, on the one hand, if you are at a world, you've had hundreds of thousands, maybe a few million planets, and you just went to one, and you forgot where it could possibly be. I get that. But if this was the one world that pushed you back,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
you got I'm not sure how you forget that. That's a plot hole, man. That's a plot hole.
I think that puzzled me more than anything because you always remember who defeated you. You
Well,
always
yeah.
remember that.
Well, yeah, you would be like, okay, I'll never forget that world. I was the only one that pushed me back. You went, yeah. There's really no explanation that I've heard other than that's a plot hole for me.
Okay.
I don't know how you get around that one.
No, I totally agree with that. All
But
right.
it was really cool, like I said, to see Darkseid. He looks amazing. We got to see his Omega beams and the kind of little future version of him taking out Aquaman underwater, and that was awesome to see. And then yeah, Desaad looks cool, really cool. And then we got to see a little bit of grainy goodness. So
Very,
I'm
very
just
quick. I mean, really, what you saw on the still was
yeah,
what you saw in the movie.
yeah. I mean, she moved. That's about it.
She moved.
But it was cool to see. It makes really makes you want to see the New God stuff more. I hope that actually comes to fruition. So we'll see.
Now let's talk about Batman.
Yeah, man, Batman.
I want to say this. I'm okay. I was really excited about when I heard Ben Affleck was going to become Batman. And then I
Yeah.
was very disappointed with this movie, especially with how bloated he was and out of shape he
Oh
was.
yeah, it looked bad.
It just, I couldn't stand now this version of Batman. And what he came back to be looking like
Yeah.
in this Snyder Cut is unbelievable. And now this is who I could see being Batman. In my opinion, he fights like Batman. He's a jerk like Batman. He's a playboy like Batman.
Right.
His suit looked better for Batman than any suit we've seen lately.
No, I mean, it's so awesome to see the gray and the black. I mean, that's like, I was really disappointed in Pattinson's suit initially. It's like, we're back to all black.
Yeah.
Here we go. Like, couldn't we do something different? Which was so awesome to see this costume with the black and gray,
Yep.
how he actually looks. So, yeah. I mean, somebody had mentioned, like, well, I didn't like Ben Affleck still as much in Justice League because he wasn't as intense as he was in BVS. And he was so, brutal. And like, well, I think he was still pretty intense as Batman, but he has went through a change, though. I mean, he's not cracking jokes like he was in the Joss cut, but
Right.
he is like, look, I was going too far for years, and what happened with Superman snapped me back into being at least more of a hero. I'm
And
still not happy-go-lucky, but
he kept saying to Alfred, this is about having faith.
yeah.
And that
yeah,
is
he's like,
never Batman's way originally.
no,
It was always a plan.
right. But he was a broken man in BVS over years of fighting and losing, and obviously, we know that Joker killed Robin, and so he's bitter, he's angry, which, we can debate whether it was good for him to actually be killing criminals, whatever. That's such a debate. I'd probably prefer him not to, but
That's just how I grew up with him being.
yeah, I mean, if I had to choose, I'd prefer not to, but I'm not gonna let it ruin the experience. But yeah, he's a changed guy in Justice League, but still intense. I mean, it's really good.
And I loved at the end when he basically told Joker, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
I know. I was like, that was like, yeah, that's appropriate. Yeah, because he's like, yeah, and make no mistake, I'm gonna kill you.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was a great scene too.
Now man, I don't know if I like the scene because I don't know if I like Jared Leto again as Joker in that scene. And I was all gonna give Jared Leto the benefit of the doubt, but the stupid ass laugh thing that he was still doing over and over and over again through the whole scene, I didn't like.
You didn't like? I don't mind it. I want to see more of him I want to see more before I can judge it. I think he's pulling off a very crazy Joker, like I don't know what this guy's gonna do vibe.
I mean,
but
I can see that.
but he's still not. I mean, he's still dead last for probably most people's favorite Joker. I'd say.
I got him last. I mean, without doubt.
He's probably last for me too, just because when you've got Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, and Joaquin Phoenix, it's kind of hard to.
It's hard to go over any of those guys.
It's kind of hard to go over any of those guys. So
you can even go Mark Hamill if we wanted to get deep.
Absolutely.
And I think he's above. Man, he's good.
I think Mark Hamill's number one as far as how I want Joker to sound.
I don't disagree with you at all. Heath Ledger's up there. Heath Ledger's number one for me.
Oh, it's hard for me to get past Jack, though, because I was a kid and seeing that, just like, man.
Oh, I loved it as a kid, but Heath Ledger was, man.
He's good, too. I didn't care for Heath Ledger at first. I mean, now I've grown accustomed to it.
You didn't like him at first?
That's too far. That's too strong. I was a little put off on the different take of him and the cut instead of him the traditional, his frozen smile like Jack had.
Right.
He's got a perpetual smile on his face because his face is frozen like that from the chemicals.
Right.
So
instead he had his dad cut. Yeah.
Yeah, or whatever happened to him. It's like, okay, it was a style choice, and now I've gotten used to it. And I never didn't like the performance though, because it was like, woof, yeah, that's great.
Joaquin Phoenix performance was fantastic.
Yeah, I still need to watch that again. It's not one of those movies you watch over and over.
No, not really. Now let's go to your man. Let's go to your
That's right.
favorite Superman.
Oh, bittersweet.
There's
Probably the last time.
I'm gonna say two things and then I'm gonna let you go because I know this is your whole thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think Henry Cavill was amazing in this,
Yeah.
but I don't think they used him enough.
No, I agree.
Like when he was great, he was when he was in it, he was great the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think someone just said hi to you, your daughter, I think. You want to say hi?
Oh, hey.
But I think he was great.
Keep studying.
His fighting scenes were fantastic,
Yeah.
but he hardly even talked.
He didn't have a lot of dialogue. He may have had more dialogue in the Joss Whedon
I
cut,
think he
honestly.
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's the real truth about him though? Man, I loved how he just whipped Steppenwolf's ass. I mean, it was like easy peasy. And everybody else was struggling and he was just nope, it's over.
Yeah. Well, I agree. Yeah. I mean, that's just I do. It's just gonna be hard to see Henry go, man. I just, as a Superman fan, and we can talk. Tyler Hoechlin from CW is doing a fabulous job, but for the big screen, gosh, I don't. This is the part that makes me the maddest at WB is you're being extremely foolish here.
Yep.
But we can get into that a little bit later. But as far as the movie goes, I thought the emotional scene of him coming back to life with Lois and his mom was much more profound.
Applaud that gigantically.
I mean, I don't know what the hell Joss was writing about when, how's it feel to be dead? Oh, it's itchy. What? Oh gosh, it's like the worst dialogue ever. So that was phenomenal. Now, I guess, and give Joss some credit, this is finally a part of the movie that he didn't seem to cut much out of was the fight with Superman freshly coming back to life and the League.
Yeah.
I mean, it was mostly intact, not everything. I mean, there was a cyborg saving the cop and Flash getting thrown into Aquaman, but it was mostly intact, and it's still that probably was the best stuff out of the Josh cut, and because it is like, man, Wonder Woman's really, really powerful and strong, and it's like she tries to keep one up in Superman. It's like, oh, you want to headbutt me? Oh, you want to see a headbutt? Bang!
I'll show you one real quick.
Yeah.
And Under the Lampshade just said great content, guys. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. So yeah, the one thing too though I thought was interesting. I don't know if you caught this. So I mean, we know about Superman's black suit. Everyone's going crazy for the black suit. He puts it on and he has that great scene and the dialogue of his father's talking to him.
It goes
and
up.
He flies up.
Yep.
Yeah. But we never really got a reason for, at least if you didn't know anything about the suit, you were just watching and thinking, well, he chose to put on a black suit instead.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. As far as I can tell, yeah, he had it. It was giving him more power. He went up there and probably absorbed more solar. Yeah.
In my opinion,
it was interesting at the end, he does the shirt rip. It's like, oh, he's still wearing the black suit. So that's a little interesting.
I think they could have stopped the singing with Aquaman and gave us a 2-minute dialogue of why the black suit's important.
The scene, I'll tell you, there are 2 scenes with Aquaman. The singing, whatever they are, sirens. I don't know. And then I thought it was a little bit, maybe it was for the ladies, where Jason Momoa was like, wow, he took forever to walk out onto the ocean, and then the oceans to crash into him. Like, this is taking a long time. Can we speed this up a little?
Okay, and I'll go on top of what you just said. When he saved the guy in the boat, he was wearing a shirt. When he brought the guy and slammed him on the table, got the drinks and said the drinks are on him, and he went back out and the waves are crashing. Why did he take his shirt off when he had his
It, wa-
shirt on when he saved the guy?
it was 2% wetter, so that was too much. And
It was just
it's
too wet.
finally, it was only 98% wet. Now it's 100% West Chicago.
Another thing I heard, and I think it was Nerdrotic that said this, and I
Oh,
hope I'm
right.
right. He said, with Aquaman loving the ocean so much, why did
Yeah.
he break the bottle and litter in the ocean?
That's a good point. Arthur, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe after this movie, though, he's turning over a new leaf and getting more serious about
Well, see,
oceanography.
someone said that he probably did that because he wasn't to the point yet where he had the love for the ocean as he does
I
in
mean,
Aquaman.
that's an actual, not a bad way to view it. Because yeah, he hated the Atlanteans. He's just kind of lost, roaming around, helping people where he can, and but doesn't really care about anything. And it doesn't sound like he has much of a relationship with his father in this version. Because he
No.
says at the end of the movie, he's like, oh, I need to go see my father. And you could tell it's like, well, he hasn't seen him forever. He's just on his own.
Yep.
And I loved it in the Aquaman movie how he's pretty close to his dad. That was just way better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that because there you could tell that they had that relationship big
Yeah.
time, and they didn't
Yep.
have it here at all.
No, no.
Now I want to get into some things. Of course, we've heard from the CEO of Warner Brothers Media that
Oh yeah.
bye-bye Snyder Cut, we are over. Thank you. We're done.
Oh yeah. She put the hammer down. It was. I mean, one thing about this interview, it's all very telling. You don't even let the fans have a couple days. You're like, no, hey guys, we're gonna rain on your parade.
Mm-hmm.
We're letting you know Snyder Cut is done, over with. We're paraphrasing here, but it's over. And by the way, the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, you ain't getting it. Not gonna happen. Even though it costs next to nothing to do because it's all done. Yeah, we're moving on. And we got new things happening. This was your last little thing here. It's over.
What do you feel about this?
Well, I'm torn. Okay. I love this Justice League movie. Loved it.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah, I even put it on tonight just as I'm kind of doing other things, just put it on in the background and catch things. So, but I think we've talked before. I'm not in love with Snyder's vision for the DC universe. It is really dark. I think, we can talk about what he had planned for 2 and 3 because there's articles out a lot. You can go research it about, hey, this is what I had planned. This is what I was going to do. And honestly, a lot of it sounds like shit.
Yeah.
As a fan, I'm kind of like, I don't know. This movie was great. What you were planning to do, I mean, maybe it would have been great, but what I'm hearing doesn't sound exciting. Like, Batman dies. Lois is pregnant with Superman's child. Her child becomes a powerless new Batman. He has no powers, but he's the new Batman. Okay.
Yeah. Exciting.
Batgirl was going to be in, I don't know, maybe that was a Deathstroke movie.
Batgirl was supposed to help Batman at the end of Deathstroke. Movie.
That movie, that's great. And then, we were going to show more about Robin getting brutally murdered. Like, they murdered Jimmy Olsen for no good reason. So some of that stuff does concern me. So yeah.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I'm like, I don't know that I really want to see a lot of this go forward if that's really what they were going to plan. But the other part of it is like, damn, we're not going to get Ben Affleck back. That's done.
Yep.
And Henry Cavill is probably done too.
Unfortunately.
And that sucks. That sucks big time.
I'm telling you, when this was over, when I got done watching Snyder Cut, I was like, give him full reign. This was amazing. This is exactly what we need.
Right.
And then I got thinking about the nightmare scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. I was like, I'm not on board with this. And one, I think it would be way too early in this DC universe to go that way. And I think I think that's what he really wants to go. It
Yeah, he
was
wants
that
to go
way.
uber dark, and I'm flipping done, man, with the bullshit evil Superman crap.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it being an alt like what they're doing with Superman and Lois because we have the real Superman.
Right.
You know, if you have an alternate version somewhere else, I don't want to see this. Oh, okay, the whole tale is about how Superman's evil, and that's just lazy writing, man. I don't know what to do with Superman. He's too hard to write. Well, let's make him evil, then he's more interesting. Nah, f that. You are right. Now, part of me loves that scene, and I'm like, ooh, that Joker Batman scene, that's fire, and all this other crazy other post-apocalyptic world. Love to see it.
Yep.
But you're right. It's too early. This is going to be a great Elseworlds tale if you wanted to do something on HBO Max as this other thing.
Yeah.
But if you haven't established the core DC universe and had some time to sit with that, I don't want to go off into this weirdo
Yeah.
Elseworld tale.
Totally agree. And I feel that's the direction he wants to go because
No, I was.
you haven't told anything really as a core yet.
Right.
And we have been saying DC, in my opinion, DC's characters are far superior over Marvel.
Yeah.
And the content is there in waves, but they want to do everything in such a hurry to play catch up to Marvel. And then you produce finally something that works in Justice League. And then from there, your vision was to flip it 180 to the evil, dark, weird side that I don't think people would be interested in. I wouldn't be.
No, I mean,
I would watch it, but I'm not. I want to see a good Batman. I want to see a good Superman. Continue a good Wonder Woman. Give us Shazam again. I loved it. And start now branching out. Flash. I'm telling you, Cyborg. I'm all for a series on HBO Max or a movie. It's time to get Green Arrow. Time to get. You have so much ways you can go.
It does. I mean, I'll segue for just a second about Ray Fisher. It's like, damn it, Ray. Like, I get what you were trying to go for. I understand what happened to a certain extent, but you not realize you totally sabotaged your career, probably, and any chance of coming back a Cyborg. If you could have handled this just with a little more tact.
Yep.
Because now I do want to see Cyborg. I want to see a series with him, or the movie they were planning to do before everything went to pot.
Yep.
It was supposed to be a Cyborg movie, and now I'm like, yeah, I'd love to see that. Not going to happen. But going back to the Justice League, yeah, I mean, as much as I love this movie, I want it to be okay. This is a full-on new apocalyptic invasion of Earth. And let's have the Justice League as a team all together, 6 of them, 7, which it should be, with Green Lantern coming aboard.
Yep.
And we go that route. I don't want to see, maybe you have some more snippets of footage of a nightmare world or possible things that are going to happen, but I don't want the movie to be that.
No.
Because if that's what you were going to do.
Nah. And I'm okay with Batman being so paranoid about the nightmare stuff.
Oh, yeah,
that he's always planning on how to stop each one of them if something needs to be done. But you don't go that direction. We don't need the Injustice right now. Not at all.
No, and that's what, as much as Injustice was fun and people really liked it, it's like, man, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe an animated movie, fine, great, but don't go that way with live action. We need quality Batman. We need quality Superman first, established.
Yep. They better do that soon. Like, and I know they're doing it with Batman, but if you aren't going Henry Cavill, you got to do something soon. And we need the Clark Kent Superman first.
I don't know. I mean, we are getting at least Bruce Wayne, Batman. That's coming, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, it's tough being a Superman fan. We always get jacked around. You know, Batman fans have it so easy. I love Batman. Love
We've
Batman.
had a
Can't wait for
lot
the.
of different Batmans, though. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, but there's always a movie coming out, and most of them, in my opinion, are pretty damn good. I mean, you
It's
take
just like
Batman and Robin
Spider-Man.
out. You take Batman and Robin out. You got. I love Batman Forever. I don't care. Got mostly freaking great Batman movies.
Yeah.
You know, Superman 3 and 4 sucked. Superman Returns was and then we're waiting forever for a new Superman movie.
I
But
just feel they don't know what to do with Superman. Superman, in my opinion, this is the Superman they make, what Justice League did. And
yeah, it's
they do
time.
a whole movie about that and make it to where the chaos is him wanting to save everybody. Make it sort of like Superman and Lois right now. He's torn of where to go.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
we need. But when
That's
he is
what.
facing an enemy, he's a badass. You ain't stopping him.
Yeah, I mean that's where Superman and Lois has finally got Superman right, and they've made him interesting too. It's like, well, what's his weakness? Well, his weakness is he's trying to be a husband and a father, and he can't do it all. He can't be in two places at once. So how does he have his responsibilities and still be Superman? That's what makes him interesting.
Yep.
And yeah, they're fool. WB are straight up fools if they let Henry Cavill go. Because okay, a couple years ago he didn't have quite the Hollywood clout, but since The Witcher came out
Yep.
and the fan interest of wanting him to be Superman has only went up, 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 up. He's trending all the time, like Superman Henry Cavill, trending, trending.
Yep.
But no, they're gonna go with the political crap version of a Superman, and Henry Cavill, the Clark Kent version, may. I mean, we don't know for sure yet, but it's not looking good that we're gonna have a Clark Kent version outside of Superman and Lois on the big screen because they're going to go with this other version. And it's really sad and it's a pitiful waste of great things. But I think that's what they're going to do.
And see, okay, again, where I am at comics, what is the other version's name? You've told me a couple times.
Well, there's two African American versions. One's Val Zod from the Earth 2 comic, and he's an actual. Well, it's a long story. We won't go into it. And the other one is Calvin Ellis, where on his world he's president, and basically a kind of Barack Obama as Superman.
Which one interests
And
you the more?
mm, I'm much more interested in the Val Zod because of the Earth 2 storyline, but there's no way you can do that storyline. So the Calvin Ellis is pretty cool too. He just hasn't had as much content for him. He's only been in a handful of issues.
So with HBO Max being what they are now, instead of making a movie about this and trying to force feed us, why wouldn't they do a series about it and then do a Clark Kent Superman movie? And then maybe you will start getting some momentum going and then you can have them both.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. I don't know why you wouldn't have Calvin Ellis or Val Zod version on HBO Max. I think a series is phenomenal idea. And then you have Henry Cavill as Superman in the movies. And guess what? You could even have them meet up someday in a
Yeah.
movie or a HBO Max show. I mean, how cool would that be?
Yeah. That's the hard part is I'm not saying I'm not wanting that kind of a character, but you're going to make a movie and force feed me about a character I know nothing about, and you're going to expect me to know everything about in 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah, I think that's the key thing is I have action figures of those guys. I mean, I think they're really cool. So there's this part of me that's excited to see them, but like not at the expense of losing the Henry Cavill Clark Kent version. It's like at the same time, totally fine. But don't replace that and then all of a sudden we have poof, nothing.
Yeah. Unfinished Business is asking, are you guys going to go live later this week for a Superman and Lois?
Oh, well, that was the plan. But things change.
Just blame Ace for that, by the way.
Yeah, Ace is at fault for this
I
one.
was prepared.
Yep.
What we know the Shazam movie's coming out. They just announced the villain for that.
Yeah, Helen
Helen,
Mirren,
yeah.
amazing actress.
We know the Batman's coming out. I
Hmm.
mean, we know a lot of things are on the works. Black Adam, we saw The Rock is now reading his script. Um,
Oh yeah, breaking news! Breaking news! My gosh, James Bond is freaking Doctor Fate. Holy crap!
well, yeah,
Pierce Brosnan, man, so pumped.
that
Anyway,
is good. But what I'm saying is, so we got Shazam, Black Adam, the Batman.
Suicide Squad.
When are we? We just had Wonder Woman. When are we going to have Aquaman's coming out? When are we going to have like Superman has to be soon, in my opinion. And it's not
I
it's not
know
going to
it.
be for the next 2 or 3 years for sure, right?
I mean, no. I mean, the only movies that aren't. If let me think for a moment. Green Lantern Corps starts filming in April for HBO Max. Peacemaker's filming right now. Gotham Central starts filming later in the summer. And so they've announced a Blue Beetle movie.
Yep.
They've announced a Static Shock and Batgirl movies for HBO Max. They've announced Zatanna,
Yep.
that is supposed to be an actual movie. And they've announced John Constantine as an HBO Max, and they're all going to eventually end up meeting for Justice League Dark. So those are the things that are coming. And then now we've got the Tanisi J.J. Abrams version of Superman, which has not been confirmed to be Calvin Ellis or Val Zod, but
It's got to be.
it's got to be. I mean, you don't hire Ta-Nehisi Coates to write
I
Clark
just
Kent. It's just not going to happen.
all I keep thinking about is time. I mean, you're
Yeah,
talking about all these actors are
wasted
going to
time.
be getting
Wasted.
older and older and older, and you aren't piecing any of this together.
No,
And
don't understand it.
DC's not going to be, but I'm telling you, HBO Max is having some success.
Oh yeah, I mean they have skyrocketed with subscriptions. I mean they're beating their projections, so the content is helping. Wonder Woman was a huge success, and the Snyder Cut had greater views than Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Like by a lot. It was number one.
Yeah, I mean some reports said they had 1.8 million to Falcon's 1.7 million views, so it was close. That's one report, and then another one report shows that sustained viewings of Justice League are outpacing Wonder Woman 84 by a wide margin. So it's, without the box office, it's so hard to know for sure.
Yeah.
Box office was like, you knew exactly, but this is all new territory. But regardless, it's a success. So yeah, so there's a lot of ways they're going to do what Disney's doing too. HBO Max series, Disney Plus series, and then the movies. So the new strategy, as she was talking about, is going to be multi-platform stuff. Streaming, movies, games, and then the comics will play a very, very small part. But so the opportunities there with the multiverse to have your version. That's why it's like, let's have Val Zod or Calvin
Yeah.
Ellis and Clark Kent. Come on.
Yeah. All right, I think we need to finally segue to the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we went long on Justice League, but there's
And
so
that's
much to talk
okay.
about.
I mean, it was technically a 4-hour show, so.
Yeah.
Quick thoughts of what you thought about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching it and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
There was some article that said more the same, and then the article, you thought the article was going to tear it apart. It was like, no, I mean, Marvel's, still trudging along, more the same. It's good, but I don't know that it was like, holy crap, this is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. I'm excited to see how they keep going.
I'm going to say I was looking gigantically forward to this. Like,
Yeah.
out of when I remember seeing what series were coming up, this one, Loki, jumped out at me. and then there was one other, and I can't think of it right now. But WandaVision didn't jump out at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't disappointed with the action, but you take the action out of this one, and take the action out and take Bucky out. I don't like this one.
I was shocked at how uninterested I was in Sam's private life. I don't know why. I just was like, I don't know. It was just like kind of boring. I
I
was
don't
much more engaged with what Bucky was doing with his dealing with, his neighbor and finding out that he's the one who killed his son, and he knows he wants to tell him but he can't, and like, wow, that's a lot more compelling than trying to get a loan from the bank.
I I don't understand. I guess okay. I understand that they didn't make money saving the world. And that's a hero's not saving the world to make money. At the same time, now that you are a secret op or whatever you are for the military, you better be making money for the military.
Yeah, I
You
don't
ain't
know.
doing that for free. There's no way.
I think
I'm
as far as a plot device goes, it's like it's a little unrealistic that the Falcon, a guy who saved the universe, couldn't probably pull some strings and get a loan from a bank. I
like the
mean,
guy
that's just
asked
like,
him. He was like, "Did Tony Stark not pay you?"
well, yeah. I mean, I know Stark's gone, but it's like, come on, no, these guys are national freaking heroes, world renowned. You don't tell me he can't get a loan for whatever it's going to cost for that boat. I mean, that's just a little bit. I don't know. That was a little bit like, I'm not really buying that.
Did you
Come
like
on, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Did you like the squirrel scene where the flight suits at the beginning?
Oh, the squirrel scene.
Where they were in those like flying squirrel suits.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that was awesome. Yeah.
That was some of the best stuff I've seen
Oh, yeah.
on any like action scene. It reminded me of Point
Yeah.
Break.
Yeah. It was, oh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I haven't seen that one in a while. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, I felt like I'm in agreement with a lot of reviews. Like, man, there's something about this episode that it wasn't like a home run, but ooh, man, that opening Falcon scene was fire. That was just freaking great.
I'm gonna say this too. They can't do what WandaVision did. They got to introduce the villain fast. They can't introduce the villain in 6 episodes in.
Yeah, I'm wondering how this whole Disney Plus series thing is going to end up going. They're, already the buzz for this show, even though it had incredible views, the buzz isn't there like there was for WandaVision. Is it because of the show itself? Is it because is there too much? Is Marvel going to saturate the market a little bit, like Marvel every week, where people finally like, it's another Marvel week, whatever.
Yeah, and didn't they already push back Loki?
I don't know if I think they did, but it's pretty firm date now. I mean, it's June-ish, I think.
Did
Yeah.
they push back Loki because of just what you just said, that they're oversaturating the market and they wanted more time in between the Falcon and Winter
I'm not
Soldier?
honestly though. I'm not. Let's see. So we're March, April. Yeah, maybe there is a little break in May. I think they originally were trying to give Black Widow some air, but now she's on July 9th, so
Yeah.
hell if I know.
Little background on the guy that's with and helping out at the beginning, Sam. Like he's his eyes for him.
Oh yeah, yeah,
There's some
yeah.
background to this guy, and do you want to go into detail about that?
Yeah, he's a pretty new character. I can't even tell you his real name, and if you have it, he's so new. But he becomes the Falcon
Yeah.
in the comic books, while, as we know, in fact, there was a toy reveal today, another action figure of Sam in the Captain America suit. So, in the comic books, Sam is Cap, and then Falcon is his sidekick, and it's this character. Except in the comic book, he's got a little bit of a mutation. Not a mutant. He was genetically altered, and he's actually got, real wings and bird eyes. And
Really?
I don't know if they'll go that route, but he's definitely going to end up being the Falcon, in my opinion.
Okay, so staying on this guy for a second. Who in the heck is the dude that beat the living tar out of him?
Ooh, yeah, man. Check him out. Google him. Flag Smasher. Why can't they put characters in white costumes on TV? Pisses me off. He's got a freaking badass costume in the comics. The Flag Smasher, man. Come on.
So are you saying
And
in the comics he's called Flag Smasher and he has a white costume?
yeah, yeah. It's whitish with black. I don't know. It's simple design. It just looks badass. But no, we don't do that. We'll put him in regular clothes and a flipping hockey mask.
Did you notice how they made him known as the Flag Smasher?
No, what do you mean?
He threw a guy up against a flag pole. Smashed a guy up
Okay.
against a flagpole. Did you catch that?
And I did catch that.
I
I just
that was
thought they were
funny.
called the Flag Smashers. So yeah, I mean the comic books, and they are keeping with the theme, and they don't want borders, except they're tying it into the blip in the show. Like
Okay.
it was so much better in the blip. We didn't have all this, so let's go back to that. But in the comics, they just think it's kind of relevant today. No borders. But they think governments are evil and they should destroy the government. So flag smash, smash the symbol of their country. So
Do you think it's going to be, even though a Flag Smasher in the comics is like one type of person, do you think this is going to be more of a group, like a Hydra, a smaller Hydra
well,
type of group?
they are a group in the comics. I mean, he's the leader of Ultimatum. Is this
Okay.
he's Flag Smasher and his group is called Ultimatum, and they're pretty big force. So it doesn't sound like, I don't know if they'll call him that in this series, but yeah, it's going to be the same principle. He's got a lot of underlings, and I think what's going to happen is that we're going to find out that there's a super soldier serum leak, and a lot of people are getting superpowers, and he's one of them.
Okay.
We're going to find out John Walker is pretty superpowered, I think. I mean,
I mean, it should be, right?
she better be.
Okay, and unfortunately, we have to go to the bank scene because that's coming
Do
up.
we?
We do.
Do we though? All right.
I understand what this bank scene was saying, and the sister was like adamant. I'm done. Don't try to go get this loan. I'm telling you, it's not going to
Right.
happen. I've tried. Sam was, no, man, I'm the superhero. They're all going to love me. I can make this work.
Well, it's
And
really, in reality, it should have worked.
but at the same time, a banker is looking at numbers. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter who you are, they're looking at numbers. And she was alive in the blip. She didn't get taken.
Right.
And had no income, zero, for 5 years in a row. And in my opinion, why would they loan anybody money if they don't have any income on their business?
I mean, he did kind of say, like, hey, since the blip, things have tightened up. Yeah, you would think things would have to be totally different.
I mean, we just got 5 billion people back, and
yeah, I mean, it's probably really the world would be unmanageable. It'd be freaking Mad Max out there after everyone came back. But yeah, so to get a loan is probably not going to happen if you've been gone for 5 years. So
yeah.
on the flip side, though, it's like, okay, you are the Falcon. Somehow you have access to funds, but whatever.
But that should be government crap, or Shield or somebody should be in charge of that. Not this banker. And
it was a little silly. It's a little silly.
I know I got to be careful with what I say, but I know it did go to the racist part. You're reading reviews about it, and it was, they're hitting racism head on.
Yeah.
On all honesty, in this situation, this banker wasn't racist. He didn't have a choice. I mean, it was guidelines and all that kind of stuff to not give a loan.
I mean, I didn't really view it as him being racist at all, and I'm hoping they didn't write it like that. And if people are interpreting it, I hope it's just their own interpretation. Because, yeah, I don't. I think, maybe he should be more caring, but the reality is what it is. It's a poor plot point in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's poor. That part's poorly written. Not good.
Okay, a part that was finally excellently written, and I loved it, was the scene with Bucky.
Yeah.
And his shrink. Sorry to say that to you.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
He was awesome, and so was she.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. They were going back at each other. It was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Quit
Yeah.
lying to me.
Yeah.
Are you having bad dreams? Nope.
Oh, you're getting the pen and pad out. Oh, that's so passive aggressive.
I loved it. I mean,
Yeah.
he is such a great actor, Sebastian Stan.
Yeah. Again, this episode surprised me because I freaking love Anthony Mackie. I've loved him since the Hurt Locker. You gotta watch that movie if you haven't seen it. And I love Falcon, so I was kind of surprised how I was like, man. Whenever it went to his backstory, I got kind of like, this is boring. I loved everything they had going on with Bucky was so much more interesting.
It was a lot more interesting, like the backstory of everything there.
Yeah, I wanted to see like 10 more minutes of him and his Asian neighbor. I forgot his name. I was like, those two together were great.
But that was a sad part too. But I agree.
Sad too, yeah.
But I loved how Bucky was saying to there was three stages that he had to go through. And
oh yeah,
he was saying that he did want to this was it a senator?
Yeah, he helped her get in power when he was under Hydra's control, and she abused it, of course, and he was crossing her off the list.
I loved it, but how he was saying it was, I did so much better on this, and
no one got hurt except I punched a guy in the face.
He was great in this.
Yeah, really good.
Then I want to get to this scene because you said this, and this was one of the best scenes in the whole movie. Or the whole show, was with the old man, and the old man was just basically, he asked the chick out for.
That was great.
Oh my gosh.
He wants to ask you out Friday night. He's like, what are you doing? Would Pinocchles be okay? Well, yeah, it sounds great to me. Maybe we'll do something else other than Pinochle, but.
And then what did they pick instead of Pinochle? That's the only thing that I was a little confused on Battleship.
Hey, it's a retro thing for the kids, man. They love it.
You think that's why it went there?
Yeah.
It was at the restaurant though that Bucky finally put 2 and 2 together on the incident of killing an innocent victim.
Yeah, I still think he knew already.
Do you think he already knew, and that's why he's with the guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost certain of that. Well, I don't want to say certain, but I'm pretty sure. So then, when she goes into the story of it and just makes him feel more and more guilty, and he just rudely leaves. So hopefully he patches this up.
Yeah, he did. Just like, I'm out. Didn't even say anything.
I know. It's like, man, she seems kind of nice. That's stupid.
I don't disagree with you.
You big dummy.
Yeah, dumbass. I still don't understand the Battleship game, but playing Battleship and drinking, if you hey.
I need to try that.
Might work.
My wife loves board games. I hate them, but of course it's not a board game, but.
Maybe that will bring some more excitement to it if you do it to that stuff.
She might. She loves that stuff.
All right, so is there anything more that we can talk to the breaking news part?
Well, I mean, we might want to touch on the end. Do we want to touch on the end of
that's the breaking news? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where the senator, it's a senator, correct?
Yeah.
He is the one that he gave. This is a whole argument for me and you, where he gave the shield back over, saying it doesn't belong to me, and the senator's like, you made the right choice. Well, my question to you was over a text. Who has the right to the shield? Because the government gave that shield to Steve Rogers.
Right.
So does Steve Rogers have ownership of it, or does the government have ownership of the shield?
In the comic books, I don't know where it stands these days or what they do. It's so many years and so many changes, but they're basing a lot of this off of that introduction of John Walker. And in that storyline, that was what was going on. They wanted more control over what Steve did as in his activities as Cap. And they wanted more direct say and were wanting him to basically be an employee of the government. And he said, no, I've really never worked for the
Right.
government. I was, even in World War II, I was kind of my own person and I worked alongside you. So I'm not going to do it. And they're like, well, then hand over the costume and the shield and they whipped out some kind of da 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 as part of you being in the super soldier program. But we technically own that name and we own the suit and we own the image and the shield. And so he was like, you either play ball or not. And he's like, all right, I'm done. So he walked away, and then they got John Walker in as the new Captain America, and he became the captain.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's what's going to be the thing is like, if Sam tries to get it back, I'm going to be interested to see if he goes that route, and they say, I'm sorry, Sam, but this shield is the ownership of the U.S. government.
I think that will actually be a very interesting twist.
Yeah, I do too.
And again, that twist doesn't have anything to do about race. That twist has to do about ownership of it wasn't Steve's either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can do what we want with it. Now, I didn't like that they put it in the Smithsonian, and now, not even a week later, they're already ready to
Well,
give it to
that's where
somebody
the
else.
plot is going to go. Whether it ties into race or not, we'll find out. I suspect it will, but it'll be like, sorry, Sam, you're just not cut out to be Cap. I mean, we were trying to be nice to you, but we're not who. We don't think you're the guy we need to take over the mantle of Captain America. So we've got a guy here that we think will do better.
Now, my big concern over this is going to be I want to get to the spot, though, and pause it. By the way, this costume of U.S. agent is horrifically bad, like really bad.
Well, it's okay from the neck down, and then the head is. We got something going on here. I don't
That's
know what.
just weird, man.
I don't know how. It's just weird how sometimes you don't look right in a costume because Wyatt Russell's not a bad looking dude.
Why do we go back?
He's Kurt Russell's son.
This
Come
is
on,
this
man.
is worse than the very first Captain America costume that Cap was singing and dancing in.
That's harsh criticism,
But
but
it's true.
hopefully they work the helmet. It's just his face. I can't believe they didn't say like his face is kind of scrunched, and so that when the helmet goes on, it just doesn't look right. They needed to adjust it better.
In my opinion, the government made Captain America's first one and Shield made the rest. That's what I'm saying to myself. Stark made the rest. And their
Yeah,
technology is just so much better, and the government made this U.S. agent one too, and it's just horrible. The
I like
mask
it.
just doesn't make any sense. Like it protrudes out, and Steve
It just doesn't.
Rogers didn't do. It's like goggles sitting up here, and it never had that.
Yeah, yeah. It just doesn't look right on him at all. I don't know if Wyatt Russell's head is just shaped weird, or I don't know what the heck.
I got crap because I said it looked like Carl from Up.
Well, you shouldn't have because that's a huge meme going around. Yeah, everyone's got it up. Like there's Carl from Up, and then there's him, and it's like
It looks pretty damn
it's
close.
it's pretty darn close, man.
Um, I want to know this is what I'm worried about. We've seen in very many trailers that you see Sam actually working with the shield, trying to figure
Yeah,
out how to do. What I'm worried about is Sam won't be with the shield at all for a long time, and those are going to be backstories that you see him working with. They're going to have flashbacks. It's going to have nothing to do with the actual.
yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think that's what we're gonna see is a flashback of him trying because he did have it for
Yep.
probably a while, and it was probably messing around with it and considering taking on the mantle, and just decided, no, I'm not Captain America, so I'm gonna give that. And maybe they were reaching out to him that, hey, we're gonna do a Captain America display, blah blah blah. I
Yeah.
think you're right. I think those will be shown to be be flashbacks.
Because the U.S. agent is going to be too big of a character for him to just have in 2 or 3 of these, and then Sam beat him up and get the shield back. It's just not going to
I
happen like
hope,
that.
yeah, I hope we don't just get nothing on John Walker much. I hope he's a big part of the show. As
Do you,
it really is important they show him being a little bit unhinged, a little bit
yeah,
damaged from war, and he's got a lot of issues, got a lot of anger issues, some PTSD,
yep.
stuff like that.
Do you
So,
think John Walker will end up being the Monica Rambeau of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
well, I hope so. I mean, I'm really hoping they have big plans for him. I'm hoping that he leads into the Thunderbolts.
Mm,
He's a lot more brutal Captain America. He's not very forgiving. And that he ends up getting in trouble, a little bit disgraced, ends up kind of saying, "Hey, we're going to commute your sentence. You're going to be in charge of this new government team of heroes called the Thunderbolts, who are actually a bunch of criminals
yep.
that we're trying to, so that's my hope that they're going to do with him in the show. But
Last
we'll have to see.
question for this. When do we finally, in your opinion, see Zemo?
I am really perplexed on how he's going to play into this. I'm trying to figure out. I think he's just going to double down on all heroes must go. They're just no good. The blips, everyone's back now. It was a lot better. I think he's going to go kind of hand in hand with the Flag Smashers and be like, okay, he may even try to manipulate them and take him over. And, he's definitely going to be out for. My plan was right. We don't need these heroes. They're a plague on society. So we're going to take them out.
Do you think it's going to be this next episode, the 3rd, the 4th? Where do you see him
Well,
entering?
I don't know. If we don't see him in episode 2, I'm going to be like, what the?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will
that'll
make
be
no
dumb.
sense to me. And that in
Yeah.
episode 2, the other thing I need to see, and it better not wait, is Bucky and Sam have to get together.
Oh, that if that doesn't happen, then this series is in big trouble. I almost see no way that doesn't happen where they don't get together in this episode and start working together. Yeah.
I mean, they haven't
Eh,
even talked to each other from what it sounds
yeah,
like.
I thought that was a little bit like, oh my gosh, we didn't even get a scene of them together, really? I
Yeah.
don't think we did we?
No, because remember they said that to Bucky, you haven't even answered any of Sam's text.
Right. I was just thinking if there was a flashback, there wasn't anything. So no, yeah. They've got to get together this next episode. If they don't, it'll be like, what?
We got one full episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Not even.
Yeah. So, I mean,
together.
we got to look at this as a 6-hour movie,
Okay.
or probably more like a 5-hour movie with all the credits,
And again,
and be like, okay, look, this is just the first chapter, and now we're getting into the meeting together, and then it's the adventure time.
was there? I didn't really notice because they weren't so obvious. But were there any Easter eggs that people are talking about?
No, I mean, not really. I'm trying to think if there was anything that really stood out.
Nothing. I mean, I wasn't like, oh.
I mean, other than his Sam sidekick, who will more than likely be the Falcon. Flag Smashers. I can't think of anything massively like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is
Unlike WandaVision, where we were
yeah,
dissecting
yeah,
everything.
yeah. So, and I think that's why there's not been as much social media just going on and on about this. It's good. It's real,
Yeah.
I think it'll get better too. It will. It was good. It was a good episode.
I'm
I
not
think
saying
one thing
it wasn't good. It just wasn't like I was ready. And when you start out the episode with that epic, fight, and then that was it. I know there was a little bit of Flag Smasher with and stuff like that, but there wasn't much after the big.
No, there wasn't a lot of action after that. I mean, you had the little thing with the Winter Soldier. I loved seeing him in his old Winter Soldier gear. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, it was a little. But normally it would have been fine, I think, because it's an episode. It's one episode. It's not like it's supposed to fit into one.
Yeah.
But having just watched the Snyder Cut, it does mute the excitement for that. You're like, oh well, that was good, but the Snyder Cut, however, was.
I agree. Because I remember watching WandaVision, and I had to watch it like Friday morning. I really wanted to watch it. And I
Yeah,
didn't get around to watching this until it might have been Saturday or Friday night with the kids. And I
yeah, it was
wasn't like, we
Saturday.
gotta watch this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was so engrossed in the Snyder Cut. I mean, I was gonna watch it soon, but it was definitely taking a back seat more than I thought it would.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's
So,
all
but I'm
I.
still real excited about it. So, it's gonna be good.
It's still good stuff.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, hey guys, what? Make sure if you see this, you tune in, of course, to the second episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But do not sleep on Invincible starting Friday. Amazon Prime, 3 episodes come out. Do not watch with your kids. It's very bloody from what I'm hearing.
And I can say this: I listened to some of Grace, and she had very high remarks for it.
The
She
last time
thought it
I
was great.
checked, I think there were like 30 reviews. It was at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah. No, it'll go down. Someone will give it a bad review, but that's pretty good sign. So
Yeah,
I'm super excited for that one. So don't sleep on that show.
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
And then last thing, man. I don't know if we can even pull it up, but this is me personally because I'm super excited about this. I already said it earlier. James Bond is
Oh
Dr.
yeah,
Fate in Black Adam. Pierce Brosnan, one of my favorite. My dad's favorite James Bond, other than Sean Connery. He loves Pierce Brosnan, and I do too. I mean, I freaking loved him as James Bond. So the fact that he's playing a older Kent Nelson Dr. Fate, which is so comic accurate, I'm just excited as hell about that. So
that would be
he's one
really
of those
good.
he's one of those B characters. That's one of my favorites. I can't wait for him to be portrayed kicking ass and DC's answer to Doctor Strange. So excited.
That would be awesome.
Yep. So
All
all
right,
right.
that's all I got.
All righty, sir.
See you guys.